Hello and welcome to yet another interesting episode of the program Aquafarming. My name is Joshua Ishaya, your regular host. Of course, agriculture has come to stay, and of course, not just agriculture but aquafarming has come to stay. Reason because it has created huge employment opportunity to teeming people around the world. And aquafarming is one practice that can be practiced at home and even anywhere. Reason because with a short space you can still be able to make good use of your space to make money and also be very active maybe during your retirement days. Today on the program Aqua Farming, we'll be looking at an advanced backyard fish farming. I take it again. Advanced backyard fish farming. What is advanced backyard fish farming? Behind me you can see is a gigantic fish pond that has all the implements required in any international or any standard fish pond. So today we are going to be looking at an advanced fish farming. Stay tuned and take a look. Aquaculture is the selective management of water organisms to increase food production. The underwater farming has continued to be the fastest growing food animal production sector worldwide and account for almost 50% of the world food fish. It is perceived as having the greatest potential to meet the growing demand for aquatic food given the projected population growth over the next 2 decades. It is estimated that at least an additional 40 million tons of aquatic food will be required by 2030 to maintain the current per capita consumption. In the year 2000, the Food and Agricultural Organization reported that total capture of fisheries has reached a historical record high of about 95 million metric tons. The Food and Agriculture Organization also reported that nearly 75% of the world's major marine fisheries are now either overexploited or fully exploited and cannot be expected to yield higher production in the near term. Clearly, this is not a sustainable situation, and solution to this impending crisis must be found in aquaculture. Global capture fisheries and aquaculture production account for 15% of all the animal protein produced and consumed globally, with the figure being higher in poverty-stricken regions of Africa and Asia. Outside China, The world population has been increasing more quickly than the total food fish supply from production, resulting in a decreased global per capita fish supply of 14.6 kg in 1987 to 13.1 kg in 2000. There is also evidence suggesting that fish can play an important role in maternal, fetal, and neonatal nutrition. An adequate amount of essential fatty acid is important to health and is particularly important prior to and during pregnancy and lactation, particularly and are 10 to 100 times more concentrated in fats from marine sources such as fish than from terrestrial sources. Some studies show that fish and fish oil consumption significantly improves the outcome of pregnancy and infant development. Eating fish 2 or 3 times a week is being encouraged as part of a healthy, balanced diet, both for childbearing, women, and family as a whole. While fish as a subsistence product is an important source of direct food security for fishing households, incomes derived from wages in the fishery sector or from fish trade is often even more important as an indirect contribution to food security. Inland and coastal fisheries and related fish processing and trading provide full or part-time employment to between 6 and 9 million people in sub-Saharan Africa, using a conservative ratio of 1 to 5 for household size, a total of some 30 to 45 million people in Africa therefore depends indirectly on fish for their livelihoods. Nigeria's estimated population figure was put about 140 million as at 2006, with a growth rate of about 3%. This huge and variable population provided a base for a huge market potential and manpower for rapid socio-economic development, which is complemented by her enormous material resources base. Nigeria today can proudly boast of the fact that the fisheries subsector has the largest array of seasoned fisheries professionals, experts, industrialists, and entrepreneurs in African sub-region. Statistics have shown that the total Nigerian fishery production as of 2007, total fish demand is 2.66 metric ton, domestic fish production is 0.62 metric ton, supply deficit is 1.956 metric ton, per capita consumption is 9.68 kg per head, quantity imported 730 to 660.12 metric ton, value of fish import is 594.4 million US dollars. Local revenue generated 88.58 million naira. Forex earned 71.74 million naira. Contribution of aquaculture to GDP is 40%. Contribution of fisheries to agriculture is 4.5%. Estimated employment, primary sector 8.5 million, secondary sector 18.0 million people. Now, let's look at the contribution of fishery sector to the national economy. The fisheries subsector is estimated to have a total value of about 143.83 million naira, that is 1.1 billion US dollars, contributing 3 to 4% to the GDP. Given Nigeria's vast capacity for fish production, especially from aquaculture, this could be doubled in 10 years to include more than a million tons of fish export. This could boost the contribution of GDP to almost 8%. Fish fingerlings could contribute $3 billion. Fisheries also occupies a very significant position in the primary sector, providing direct employment for over a million people and contributing about 50% of the animal protein intake of 150 million population. As many as 6 million people are indirectly employed in the upstream and downstream value chain in fisheries. The contribution of fisheries to the nation's economy are very significant in terms of employment, income generation, poverty alleviation, foreign exchange earnings, and provision of raw materials for animal feed industry. It is estimated that about 10 million Nigerians are actively engaged in primary and secondary fisheries operations as fisher folks, fish farmers, fish processors, marketers, operators on board industrial fishing fleets, terminal, jetties operators, net fabricators and menders, engine repairers, and filters. The Niger Delta is the second largest brackish habitat in the world. One of its valuable resources after crude oil is shrimp. Nigeria is considered one of the best in the world and presently generates foreign exchange worth 50 million US dollars annually. The following is therefore envisaged. Aquaculture is one of the world's fastest growing industry with an average growth rate of about 9% per year. Over half of the aquatic species consumed are now produced from aquaculture, and it is estimated that a further 40 million tons of aquatic food will require by 2030 to supply the increasing demand. The aquaculture industry will face many challenges over the next few years to be economically, socially, and environmentally sustainable. The industry will require trained hands and adequate documentation to successfully address these issues and to meet anticipated future growth. This episode of the program Aqua Farming is centered on how to economically and intensively produce quality fish, even from the backyard of some homes, for national growth. This episode of the program is aimed at those who wish to develop their skills and knowledge of the aquaculture industry, particularly for those hoping to focus on the rapidly growing local international markets. It is also suitable for new entrants into the aquaculture industry who may wish to gain a greater knowledge and remain sustained in the subsector. Now, these are production systems used in aquaculture. They may be group based on whether water flows through the system or the water medium as stagnant. Thus, we have the open culture system, closed culture system, and semi-open culture system. An additional system, the recirculating aquaculture system, is a form of flow-through system having inflowing and outflowing waters, yet closed in that same water is reused to so-called water reuse system. The number of culture aquatic animals, stock per unit volume of water, and the level of feeding is another means to classifying aquaculture system. Thus, we have the extensive, semi-intensive, intensive, and super-intensive systems of fish management. Classification of culture systems. They are also referred to as flow-through system. The word flow-through signifies that the culture medium flow from one water inlet of the system passes through it and out via another channel. Water flow in this system helps to reduce wash of accumulating waste. Semi-open culture system. This is another type of culture system with no specific water channel, but flowing water body wherein lies the fish enclosed, e.g. enclosed culture cages and net pens. The flowing water removes generated waste instantly and refreshes the system through. The result is often impressive. Such water bodies get polluted after a while, and it becomes unsafe both for public use and aquaculture. Recirculating aquaculture system is also referred to as water reuse system or sometimes water recirculating system. The system allows the water that flows through it to be reused, thus combining the good attributes of the open and closed system, maintaining high stocking density and water conservation. Recirculating aquaculture system may either be partial, incomplete, or total, complete. The incomplete system is partly open in that only a fraction of the supplied water is reused, while the complete system is simply closed. In partial recirculating aquaculture system, there may be no need for biofilters and some other devices depending on the intensity of farming and the extent of water reuse. The system of ability to accommodate high stocking density without much water consumption is of immense benefit in ensuring great yield. Presently, up to 400 kg of fish may be produced per square meter. Using the system, some of the reason for its use. Let's look. Clusters chambers. Clusters chambers are production departments used for nurturing fish. They are usually small and rectangular or circular in shape. At times, the two shapes are combined to produce a curved-edged rectangular tank. Other designs such as polygonal and octagonal tanks are sometimes employed for fish cultures. Materials such in this construction range from plastic, wood glass, concrete, polypropylene, acrylics, plexiglass, to fiberglass, but preferably not metallic to avoid corrosion toxicity. Although concrete tanks are commonly used, tanks made from fiberglass, molded plastic, and the likes have the advantage of being very light and transferable, so suggested for use by interested tenants where wood materials are considered for use. They should preferably be lined with wax or layer of polyethylene to enhance its durability and prevent water leakage. Wall liners may likewise be used in maintaining, protecting, cracking concrete tanks and preventing corrosion where metallic tanks are used. Whatever the materials considered, the inner wall of the tank should be smooth and easy to glide on without being brushed. Well-designed circular tanks are often preferred because they encourage uniform circular water flow that promotes waste solid disposal, unlike in rectangular tanks where dead ends are created. Octagonal tanks like circular tanks will also promote circular flow. This setback in rectangular tanks may be corrected by reducing the length to breadth ratio and creating curves all the four edge, doubled enclosed to square tanks. However, rectangular tanks are better arranged to minimize occupied space, encourage good monitoring, and ease operations. Culture chambers used in recirculating system are usually small, with a surface area of less than 15 meters square and a depth of about 1 meter. Although larger tanks can effectively be managed, it is generally observed that the smaller the surface area of volume of tank, the better and easier it waste management ability. In all tank design, the tank flow should be slightly slanted towards the center where the drain is situated to promote fast removal of waste solids. Now, let's talk about water inlets in advanced home fish farming. The water inlet of a culture tank may be shaped into various designs depending on the desired function to increase water aeration, move volume of water, enhance circulation motion for waste solid management, system degazing, and system beautification. Inflow tube may be perforated at several points or a shower attached to it to facilitate water aeration. Influx water may be inclined at an angle to the tank wall and forced out to encourage circular water motion. This promotes waste solid concentration towards the middle of the tank, thus promoting waste solid disposal. Aeration and degazing may be enhanced with the use of stairway for column inlets. The inlet may also be modified to produce fountain water. Fountain inlet is considered of the great benefits in water aeration and degazing because of the increased water surface created by the fountain and splashing. It is best operated in circular, square, and polygonal tanks to encourage a widespread fountain for better aeration. A double fountain inlet may be adapted to suit long rectangular tanks. Water outlet drains. Two water outlets are often attached to fish tanks, the overflow and the outflow drains. The overflow drain is usually a disaster, preventing the pipe fixed at the top of the tank and function in managing excess water inflow that the outflow drain cannot cope with. The outflow drain is specifically designed for system waste management. Its basic function is to ensure that waste materials released by cultural fish and other means are successfully removed to facilitate the production of healthy fish. At times, a drain is designed and fixed to handle both function system, waste management, and excess water management. There are three groups of generated waste that must be well managed in water reuse systems. The suspended, dissolved, and settlable waste, where pore bounds feeds are used or atmosphere is laden with dust. That a fourth type of waste is inevitable, floatable waste. Suspended wastes are tiny waste solid materials that hardly settle, whilst settlable wastes are waste products that easily settle by gravity on the floor of culture tanks. Mainly waste feeds and fecal materials dissolved waste constitutes mainly metabolic waste and at times dissolved feed components. Dissolve and suspend waste are easily flushed out with used water, so more priority is given to settlable waste that may be retained within culture tank. Towards the main function of culture tanks drain is insoluble waste management. Floatable waste are hardly considered. Intensive aquaculture system, except when using poor quality feeds that disassociate with float on water, where poorly bound feeds that produce floating components are used. The drain must be designed to manage both soluble and floatable waste. Let's look at the waste management units. This is an important component of water recirculating system. It is a component that removes waste solid from the system, process wastewater, and also encourage reuse of water and high stocking density. This is achieved by removing waste solids, oxidizing noxious substances such as ammonia and nitrite generated from the metabolism of fecal waste and waste feed to harmless matters, and sometimes to minimize destroy harmful microbes in the water medium before returning it to the culture tank. System aeration, removal of carbon dioxide, and at times nitrate and sulfate may be included depending on the system design. Rectangular shaped simple basin-like structures with no moving parts being usually positioned after culture tanks is purposed to remove colloidal particles such as fecal materials and uneaten feed out of culture tank inflamed by the gravity. The rate of particles settling is determined by the difference in the density between particles in the water and the water. The chamber design and the rate of water movement when water flows through the tank slowly, its effectiveness as waste solid filtrating units increase. Sedimentation may further be improved on through the use of hydroclone and solid basket designs, both of which use centrifugal force to concentrate suspended waste solids. They are thus referred to as well separators. Where solids concentrated either by gravity or centrifugal force is periodically flushed out through the flush drain to clean up the filter. This may be carried out on daily basis or as required depending on the stocking density, feed, and management. Let's look at water pump. Recirculating aquaculture system is an intensive, super intensive system of fish farming that requires continuous flow of water from optimal operation and production. The function of water pump is maintaining this continuous flow of water even against gravity. Pumps may be designed to run continuously or periodically. At times, some systems are designed with two pumps instead of one. However, the cost of maintaining each design should preferably be kept low for good business profitability. In situation of poor power supply, low energy consuming pumps and cheap alternate energy utilizing pumps may be used. Alternatively, an overhead reservoir may be fixed to minimize energy consumption. Water pump into raised reservoir will normally flow by gravity into the culture tanks. In this way, a continuous water flow is ensured and ideal fish farming guaranteed. Pump available for use range from handy to heavy-duty pumps, which may be submersible to surface type. Some economic and handy pumps have been designed and run on various energy-generating devices. Solar pumps and battery-powered pumps, because of its importance, should regularly be serviced and spare ones kept for times of emergency. Aerators. Oxygen is important to life, even to the survival of fish. Since our primary focus and channel towards producing large number of fish per unit area, adequate plans must be made to provide sufficient oxygen or prevent hypoxia, low oxygen concentration in culture water. Air exchange occurs naturally at the air-water interface, diffusing along its gradients in and out of water molecules from the atmosphere. Air diffusion is enhanced with increasing air-water contact by creating water turbulence or sparkles and reduced water temperature. Although creating such turbulence is densely populated tank is less feasible, air diffusers may be used to create tiny air bubbles that ascend through the water column or aerated system. Devices that can aid in water aeration are diffusers, surface agitators, vertical lift pumps, and pressurized or non-pressurized park columns. Water inlets can also be designed to improve air-water contact as previously discussed. Fountain water inflow. Flow oxygen application in RAS is mainly to increase the intensity of farming above the limit attainable through aeration.
For those who have actually been thinking that aqua farming really requires some huge amount of money, some huge amount of space, or better say some crazy amount of budget to be able to go into an advanced aquaculture, this episode of the program actually highlighted that you can actually stand an advanced fish farming at the back of your house. Yes, that is to say, you have all the equipment required for a professional or a bigger scale, but in a very small, confined place, and that about making huge amount of money. Of course, the program has been Aqua Farming program designed on this station, your first agricultural TV station, to highlight all the things that exist in the water. And of course, today has been an amazing time as we discourse advanced backyard fish farming. My name remains Joshua Isha on behalf of the crew, especially Mr. Shea, who all went out to make sure the program went on well, and of course to the teaming, editors, Bukisu, and their likes who also made it possible. My name remains Joshua Isha, thanking you for being a part of the program. Bye for now.